Have you ever wondered if there's a diet to boost your testosterone levels? Well, if your energy's flat and your drive is down and you're gaining fat instead of muscle, your testosterone is probably part of the problem and it needs to be fixed. But before you jump on TRT or injections or gels or even medications like Clomid, you want to first fix your food. I'm Dr. Adam, a naturopathic doctor and a men's health coach, and I help men optimize their testosterone to reverse metabolic burnout, rebuild strength without a cocktail of pills. In this video, I'll show you 7 testosterone boosting foods, all backed by research, and explain why they work. Plus, I'll call out the common mistakes that most guys make when they try to eat for testosterone, but then don't see the results. So let's get into it. First key point is that your body can't make testosterone without the raw building materials, and food is where it all starts. That's one of the main levers that you are in control of when it comes to your testosterone levels and all of your hormones for that matter. So for example, cholesterol is the base molecule for all your sex hormones. And then micronutrients like zinc and magnesium and vitamin D, they act as catalysts. And then protein fuels muscle and recovery. So low intake tends to mean low testosterone. And then on top of all that, blood sugar spikes increase insulin and cortisol, which are 2 of testosterone's biggest opponents. So if your diet is packed with ultra-processed carbs, it's low in protein, and it's missing key nutrients, it's going to be an uphill battle. Now, can you ignore all that, still eat like a teenager, and just take TRT to try and fix the damage? Of course you can, but you're going to be disappointed. Your testosterone number might go up on a lab report, but you'll still feel sluggish and weak and underperforming. It's just not a real fix. It's just a shortcut with diminishing returns. Instead, here are 7 testosterone boosting foods that actually move the needle. So first up is eggs. So I'm talking about whole eggs. Yes, including the yolk, which is one of the most complete foods for hormone production because they're rich in cholesterol, they're packed with choline to support your liver, detox your brain health, and they contain vitamin D, which is linked to higher free testosterone levels in men. But if your goal is to optimize hormones, then don't throw away the yolk. That's where the bulk of the nutrients and fats are. Now, for my clients who are diabetic and also trying to lose weight, then we sometimes need to ditch the yolk because the goal is to lower calories and increase protein. But that's it. Otherwise, eat the whole egg. Next up, we have oysters. Or if that is totally unrealistic in your diet, then aim for increasing grass-fed beef. So oysters and grass-fed beef are loaded with zinc, which is essential for testosterone synthesis and sperm production. Low zinc tends to mean low T. Zinc also inhibits aromatase, which is the enzyme that converts testosterone into estrogen. So just 2 to 3 oysters will give you more zinc than a supplement can. But if shellfish isn't your thing, I get it. The next go-to is grass-fed and grass-finished beef, especially chuck or shank cuts. They have high zinc, also has high B12, high saturated fats. Third is cruciferous vegetables. I'm talking about broccoli and kale and Brussels sprouts. These contain a compound called indo-3-carbinol, which helps metabolize and eliminate excess estrogen. Because when estrogen is high, testosterone gets suppressed. And cruciferous veggies help restore this hormonal balance and free up more T to do its job. You don't need to eat these vegetables raw, so I recommend you lightly steam them, which will also reduce the goitrogens in them, the compounds that can impact your thyroid hormones. Fourth is avocado. So avocados are loaded with monounsaturated fats that support healthy cholesterol and testosterone production. They're also rich in boron, which is a trace mineral that improves testosterone metabolism and may even increase free T. So if you have low free T, boron is even more important. And then the fiber in avocados supports gut health, and gut health impacts hormone health. We know that. There's a connection there. So add half an avocado to your lunch daily. It's honestly my favorite food on this list, especially. Fifth thing is Brazil nuts, at least in moderation. You don't need that many. They're nature's best source of selenium, which is critical for testosterone and sperm production and thyroid hormones. Selenium boosts antioxidant activity. It protects the testes from oxidative stress. But here's the catch. You only need 1 to 2 Brazil nuts per day, so you don't need to overdo it. The sixth thing on the list is extra virgin olive oil. So one study I found showed that men who consumed extra virgin olive oil daily had significantly higher testosterone levels within just 3 weeks. So it improves luteinizing hormone levels, which is the brain signal to the testes to make more testosterone. It's also anti-inflammatory. It supports overall metabolic function, especially if you have type 2 diabetes or you're pre-diabetic. And I prefer to use it raw. So that means drizzling it on salads or cooked food. So you don't necessarily need to fry with it. Seventh food is fatty fish. Things like sardines and wild caught salmon, anchovies, Pacific cod, that kind of thing. These are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which lower inflammation, improve Leydig cell function in your testes, which makes testosterone. So the goal there is to help the cells that produce testosterone, help them be strong and healthy. Omega-3s also improve insulin sensitivity and reduce cortisol, which are both critical for hormone balance. So you want to aim for 2 to 3 servings per week of fatty fish. But just a note on this, ideally you skip the farm stuff. It's loaded with toxins from all the junk that they get fed, which means, wild caught is really the only way to go. Now, I will say that even with these foods on board, guys can still screw this up. So they eat these foods, they're eating better, but they still tank their testosterone by doing things like drinking beer every night, sleeping 5 hours a night, skipping protein at breakfast, or overtraining at the gym, or never lifting weights at the gym. Or they live in a constant loop of high stress and under eating. So we know at this point that food is the foundation for all things health. But testosterone requires a full stack lifestyle. So sleep, training, stress control, metabolic health overall, and nutrition. So think of these foods that I just mentioned as bricks, but you still need a builder to create the structure. And that's your behavior and lifestyle. All right, to recap, the 7 foods naturally boost testosterone. Number 1 is eggs for cholesterol, choline, and vitamin D. Number 2 is oysters or grass-fed beef for zinc. Number 3 is cruciferous vegetables to help eliminate excess estrogen. Number 4, avocado for healthy fats and boron. Number 5 is Brazil nuts for selenium specifically. 6, extra virgin olive oil, hormone signaling, and inflammation control. And then number 7 is fatty fish for omega-3s and testicular function. Now, here's your action plan. This is what is needed next. Add at least 3 of these to your weekly grocery list, and then track your energy, your mood, your morning erections, sex drive, and then continue to lift weights 3 times per week. Sleep 7 to 8 hours a night. Cut back on added sugar, cut back on alcohol, cut back on seed oils. On average, the guys I work with who commit to this for 3 months have an increase 76% in total testosterone, again, in just 3 months. So this stuff works really well. And before someone says you should just go carnivore and all your problems will be solved, look, I think cutting carbs will definitely lower insulin and help some guys see a short-term bump in testosterone. But long-term hormone health isn't just about restriction, it's about resilience. And in my experience, you need micronutrients, you need fiber, you need metabolic flexibility. So carnivore might work as a reset, but if you're trying to build real strength and performance and overall sustainability, it's rarely the full answer. So big picture, if you want to fix low T without drugs, it starts here with food. Then combine that with training and recovery, and you can potentially avoid a lifetime of needles and injections. And look, I help men do this every single day. So if you're ready to rebuild strength, your energy, your drive, the next step is simple. Subscribe for more videos on men's metabolic health and performance. Take care.